Hey guys, Coach Sean here, and today we're going to be talking about lower back issues, lower back pain, exercises, different things you could be doing to help overcome your lower back pain. Now, right from the get-go, this video is not going to be a one-size-fits-all, because I believe my back problems may not be the same as your back problems. So I will be talking about my issues with my lower back pain, but I'll also be talking about different exercises, some of which won't necessarily help me, but they might help you. So that's this whole video is about. It's going to be about different trial and error, different exercises that you could be doing. And once again, before I go all the way into this, if you're chronically suffering from lower back pain, stop listening. Just go to a physio, go whatever you need to do, get some help, because you're not going to get any answers from something like this if you're in absolute chronic pain. So these are exercises and different things you could be doing if you're on the mend, you're getting little setbacks from your training, and you just feel like every now and again, I'm feeling a twinge here, I'm feeling a little bit sore here, I don't know exactly what's going on, I don't know what I should be doing to help relieve that pain. But if you're in like, oh no, I can't do a damn thing, there might be one or two tips in this, but for the most part, seek some help. So with that said, we're going to get straight into just issues targeting that lower back pain. So one of the things that people think that could be an issue is your disc is bulging. You know, they go for an MRI and they're told their disc is bulging, but that may not necessarily be the root of the problem, because a lot of people have bulging discs, and some of them are like, it's very common. Like, I saw a study where it's like up to 20% of people over 40 will have issues with their discs. But that doesn't mean that they have pain. Like, there's a poor correlation between disc degeneration and actual lower back pain. So you could be having a bulging disc right now and not have too much lower back pain. I don't think you're listening to me if you don't have any lower back pain, but you know, it is very possible that that's the case. So what's going on? Well, I do hear a lot when people have lower back pain, hey, I need to get an MRI or I need to get an X-ray. But what's not going to show up on that X-ray or that MRI is muscle strains or any issues, your ligaments that could be, you know, your muscles could be too tight in one way, that's pulling your lower back one which way or the other. And that could be causing the overall issue of the back. So that's what we're going to be talking about. Exercise you could be doing that's not just the lower back itself, but muscles around it, your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, hip flexors, all your core, all the rest that could be affecting that lower back pain. Even though you may be feeling it right in that middle of the spine, doesn't necessarily mean that it's just a disc problem. So here's what I've learned with my lower back issues, and hopefully there's something here that may help you with yours. So usually when I have, let's say, a complete flare-up or something goes wrong, it's happened 3 or 4 times where I've just done something stupid really that I knew I shouldn't be doing, by chance that anyway it's happened. So in the last 10 years I've had 3 or 4 really bad flare-ups. 3 really bad ones that I couldn't walk for a couple of days, and I did that, you know, that awkward baby crawl walk and all the rest, like little baby steps forward, I mean to say. And that's happened 3 or 4 times. And if that happens to you, I find it's a lot easier, you know, obviously your ibuprofen, whatever, but that as well as getting heat patches and stuff like that, but only a couple of days, because the old advice used to be, you know, rest up for the next month, stay in bed for the next month, you're bedridden for a month until that lower back pain eases. And I find that if I don't start moving, and let's just take the 3 instances alone out of the way and all the minor little things here and there, but in general, if I don't start moving, if I haven't trained in a week or 2, my lower back seizes up. I feel like crap and I can't do anything. I actually feel worse. My legs feel worse. They feel like I'm, you know, big 2 steel rods coming across straight all the way from my glutes all the way down. It just feels awful. So, you know, you have to get up and start moving and try and start training, get more active and stuff, and that's going to help loosen out your lower back. And we're going to get an exercise in a second that you can be doing to help loosen out that lower back. But another principle I have with lower back training, and this may be more specific to me than you guys, I don't like training very early morning. I used to be a big fan of training at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Not so much anymore. I just find it takes me a little bit longer to loosen up. And we will be talking in depth in a second about, you know, different warm-ups you could be doing. Maybe if you spent an extra 5-10 minutes doing a warm-up, you'll actually be grand and you don't need to put off your training till later today, especially if you've only got one time to train and it is that 6 a.m. because you've got so much going on the rest of the day, well then, but by all means, train at 6 a.m., but just spend a little more time in the warm-up and the warm-up exercise we'll be going through in a second. But for me, I know that I need to loosen out a little bit more, that I need to be up and about and walking and all the rest, and then later on in the day, I'll feel much better. My back will feel much better when I get a workout in, and I feel like I could do that a little bit more. So the whole point there is just don't allow your back to seize up. Excuse me. Keep moving a day or two after you've got something, after you've had that flare up. Keep moving, try a couple of things. And another thing before we get to the exercises, people may be sick of hearing, hey, did you try yoga? Because I know I got that a lot. Like I'd suffer from my lower back, and I'd be barely able to walk, and someone would be like, hey, did you try yoga? I'm like, what? Now, I have absolutely nothing against yoga. Yoga is fantastic. It's brilliant. And I think that is a lot of things that a lot of people should be doing for the lower back. But some people, and this is directed to some people who say, hey, I've tried that, didn't work for me. I think that the problem with that is that people just immerse themselves into a class that's at a different level, and they're just doing all these sorts of different exercises, and one of them may flare up your lower back, and you may come away thinking, and you may not feel it for another 24 hours, but you may come away thinking, you know what, that yoga flare in my lower back, it's not good for me. It could have been just one exercise. So what I say to people is, lie on your back, and if you bend your knees, bring your heels up towards your hips, as if you're about to do a glute bridge. And if you hold that for 30 seconds or so, and after that then see how you feel. If that relieves pain, so if you're lying on your back, knees bent, and if you feel relief there, then you may have an issue with extension. So some of the exercises that cause you to arch your back could be causing that issue, and then the relief is to lie down, bring the knees up. As the exact same the opposite way. If you lie completely flat and your legs are out straight and you get that relief after a minute, well then you might have some issues, with bending forward, and that could be some sort of crunch exercise and stuff. You may have to avoid, different leg exercises like crunches and all the rest, and hanging the leg raises is one I have awful trouble with myself. That I found out the hard way. I was like, oh, there was something wrong with that routine I did. I couldn't figure it out for a couple of days afterwards. I remember going to a physio, and they're like, one of the exercises you did, and I was thinking, I did, lunges, this exercise. Like, nope, that's not it. I'm like, it has to be one of them. And then I was coming home, I was like, wow, I was hanging off the bar. I was doing hanging leg raises. I've never done that before. And I was like, bingo, that was it. So it's a process of elimination through those exercises. Okay, something was wrong, and that was the one that was different for me. So like, let's say, go back to that previous example where you're bending your knees and your feet are close to your hips. If that gives relief, stuff like flutter kicks and leg raises and stuff, that could be aggravating your lower back. You could be doing that in a full 45-minute session. It doesn't have to be yoga, just anything. And you do that at the end, and you might think, that entire session wrecked my lower back. And it's like, no, it was the one exercise, but you didn't know which exercise because you didn't go through a trial and error. Another issue you could have is if you're playing golf or tennis and stuff, and all that rotation and stuff, that could be an issue as well. So it could be rotation, it could be flexion, it could be extension of your back, and you kind of have to figure out which one works for you and which one doesn't. Because like I said at the very start of this thing, everyone's lower back pain is different. So if you have someone saying, oh, I had lower back pain, I did this, and this, you should do that, you'd be grand. They don't really know what they're talking about there, because everyone is more unique in that. So once again, in all this, if you got out of this, hey, he's bashing yoga, you did not listen to me at all whatsoever. I'm just saying there's some exercise, and it could be in the gym, it could be anything, it could be Pilates. I'm just saying yoga because it's one thing I kept hearing was, hey, try yoga, hey, try yoga, hey, try yoga. And that could work great. Anything could work great. I'm not bashing anything like that. I'm just saying that you should be aware of what exercises you can and can't do that may flare up your lower back that little bit more, instead of putting everything into one big ball and saying, I can't do exercise, I can't train, because you're not going to help yourself that way, in my opinion. So with that said, guys, I'm going to go into my exercises for warm-ups. 5 different exercises I like to do to bulletproof my lower back. So not just some warm-ups, just throughout the session. These are the 5 exercises I like to do. I post this before up on YouTube, but I'm going to go through them really quickly right now. The first one is glute bridges and that pelvic movement. So with this one, weak and tight glutes can, pull on that lower back. So sometimes when people see these exercises, they just look easy and like, I do a harder variation. I do a hip thrust, throw a bar up on my hips and away it goes. Like, don't do that. Just start off nice and light. No matter how easy it is, just think of the function and why you're doing it. You're doing it to loosen up those hips. So lie on your back, heels in close to your hips. Start pushing your lower back into the floor first to tuck those hips into the right position. Then bring your hips up one at a time as if you're peeling up your vertebrae one at a time, and then slowly right back down from there and get 8 to 10 reps in. So maybe the first thing you do is just keep pushing that lower back into the ground, back up, create that lower arch in your back, push right to the floor. Up and down from there 6 to 8 times, then get some glute bridges in from there. That one helped me out a lot. The next one I find is doing something for my upper back to stop me from rounding. May not directly affect your lower back, but I like doing it, and maybe doing something like handcuffs instead so you get a small bit of back extension. Once again though, you're seeing already back extension. That could be something that flares up your lower back and makes it worse. So you have to start thinking, okay, maybe if I just did, 10 minutes of work. So going back to the yoga analogy for a quick second, if you're like, I don't know which one's going to be worse or better, maybe you just did 10-15 minutes of flexion exercises. See how you feel a day or two later. Maybe start adding a little bit to it from there. So you maybe just do 10 minutes of work. So instead of a full 45-minute yoga session, you're now doing just 10 minutes, seeing how you feel the next day, and then slowly start adding, slowly start building up. And maybe one of those days where something didn't feel right that day. What was it? Let's take that out. Let's replace with something else. Let's take a mental note of that exercise it did. Anything similar to that, I'm going to leave it out for now. So back to that second exercise, handcuffs. So that's where you're lying on your stomach. Your arms are out in front, you slowly rotate the shoulders right back. So you're getting a bit of upper back mobility here. Arms behind your lower back as if you're handcuffed. And then raise yourself up into that back extension. Slowly right back down. Out again. So you're getting a bit of strengthening work on the lower back muscles by throwing in that back extension. You're also opening up the upper back as well, which is great before doing other exercises after your warm. So we're thinking ahead of other exercises that will affect your lower back, but maybe not directly as well. Speaking of which, the next exercise is side planks. So many benefits of side planks in this one. You're working your core, your obliques, your hips, your knees, the whole lot here, and you're developing that strong core. So we talked about a couple minutes ago about rotation being an issue. Side planks going to help tackle that a little bit because you're working on your obliques here. So start off light on it. Start off 10 seconds maybe each side, then build up 15, 20 seconds. You're getting to 25, 30 seconds of side plank. Let's start adding some side plank rotations, some side plank dips, a couple of things in there just to keep moving. Add that little bit of stimulus, add that extra little bit of challenge. And just like with exercise training itself, that's where that adaptation is going to happen from there. From there, my favorite exercise for core is dead bugs. So we talked about before about flutter kicks being an issue for lower back. But with dead bugs, that lower back pinned to the floor, 2 feet up, so your knees are in a table position, and then from there, you'll slowly have the lower back push into the floor, slowly breathe out, kick the leg out as far as you can, as long as your lower back maintains contact with the floor, right back in, change over the opposite leg, the exact same thing. Don't worry about your hands at first, especially within the 10-15 minutes. Just keep your hands down by the side, slowly kick out one at a time. After a couple of weeks and you're feeling that's okay, then start bringing the hands into it. Opposite hand with leg, slowly push out as long as your lower back's maintaining contact with the floor, drilling it into the floor, keep going from there. After that, you start throwing bands into it. Have a band wrapped against a rack or something, pulling it in with your arms, holding that position, tensing up your core. Then slowly as you breathe out, kick the leg away, right back in, and start slowly adding to it, like the side plank, slowly adding to it, making it a little bit more progressive, making it a little bit harder each and every time. Start building up the strength in your core. The last one that I'm going to talk about here is reverse hypers. For some people, this is fantastic, but like I said a couple minutes ago, if you suffer, flexion extension, one could aggravate it. So, and a lot of people don't have a reverse hyper machine as well, so it's very hard to do. So with this one, you have your hands up over your forearms, up over a table. Your legs are hanging down, so you're like 90 degrees from your back to your legs. Does that make sense? And you're bringing your feet up, right back down. So you could do this over a large box, and if you don't have boxes in the gym, you can also have a gym ball, and you're on the gym ball's on the bench, and you're leaning over that ball on the bench, and from there your legs should be straight towards the ground, and then you're slowly squeezing the glutes as you raise the legs up, right back down. For some people, this is going to be an absolute godsend of an exercise. For others, you might be like, feeling something's not right there. So I think if you've got a bit of disc issues there, with like legit disc issues, that one could be worse. But if you've got lower back pain and it's caused by something else, that could be an absolute godsend. That could be fantastic for you. A bonus one there is, and I like to throw into a lot of my workouts. If you did any of my lockdown workouts, you would have seen, I'd say 9 times out of 10, at some stage, I need it for myself, is that cat-cow, that cat-camel position, depends what you want to call it. So you're on all fours, you arch your back, deep breath in, slowly breathing out, push it back up towards the ceiling. Getting a bit of movement in that spine, nice and slowly, nothing too fast on it. Most people feel okay after doing this one, so see how that's going from there. So that's my go-to exercise to have in the warm-up, but as well as that, I always have different stretches in there, making sure I'm stretching out the hamstrings, stretching out the glutes, the quads, the hip flexors, getting a couple of stretches in, but then throwing in those strengthening exercises in the warm-up as well. And I'd start off on the ground personally. I'd start off with the probably the glute bridge into the dead bug, the side plank, turn it over into a cat camel and just making the flow. Then I'll start stretching the glutes out a bit more, spiral lunge rotations. That's press up position, right foot by right hand, getting the elbow down, slowly twisting back from there, opening up those glutes, working my way up to my feet. And then from there, I'll have probably some squats or lunges or single leg RDLs, still working that core, but also getting the full body prepared for whatever's coming up next. And then it'll be a little bit more specific to what's coming next. So I probably won't do a whole hell of a lot of lunges if I know it's an upper body workout, for example, that there's no real point. I'll just get enough there that I'm working my lower back and getting the benefit of that feeling better before anything else in there. So one of the things I always get asked about lower back, and I don't do them personally, is I talk about trial and error exercises. One of them I feel over the year that I've kept coming back to and I kept progressing from is the big lifts. So let's take bench pressing out of the equation for a second. I'm talking about barbell squats and barbell deadlifts. At the moment, they are out for me, and I can hear people screaming at me saying, "Hey, Sean, they are fantastic exercise. What the hell you're doing? You're getting so much strength gains from barbell squats and deadlifts." Yes, you are. Are they a good exercise? Yes. If you're doing these exercises and you're doing them in correct form and perfect form on them, and you have no issue with your lower back, fantastic. Keep going away. Keep knocking them out. Best of luck to you. I just know every time I do them, I feel, I don't feel great putting that pressure on my lower back. They just don't feel right. Yes, I need to work a little bit more on my yes, I need to work a little bit more on my mobility, but I just don't feel great doing them. So why would I do them? And I just feel like people progress too fast on them. Like as soon as they're able to squat, they're like, right, let's load up a bar and let's see how much I could do. And I just feel that a part of the problem with a lot of people, especially in the big box gyms, is they just go straight into barbell squatting very fast. Like I said, just load the bar, away you go. Once you have the squat pattern down, keep going. And you're missing out on so much potential strength in terms of getting the exercise right, doing goblet squats, working on your core, working on your technique, working on your brace breathing, the whole lot while doing that. And then if you get all that down and then you advance on the barbell squats, your barbell squats are going to be so much better. Whereas if you're in this position now, the barbell on your back, you got a heavy load, and the margin for error is a lot thinner. And the fact that you're only practicing on that, you're not getting a lot out of the exercise in comparison to building up to it properly, and the risk-reward balance starts changing if you're going straight to barbell, in my opinion on that one. To me, it's like watching a TV series. It's like, like 24, Jack Bauer. Barbell squats is like jumping straight to season 3. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, he's badass. He's doing all these things, but you're not getting as much benefit out of it as you watch from season 1. So you're watching season 3, it's like, why is he the way he is? Why is he on, addicted to heroin? Who the hell is Nina Myers? Why should I hate this Kim Bauer person? So there's so much going on but you still enjoy it because it's just a cool action series for 24 episodes. But had you watched the first season, you know all the ins and outs of it, so there's a bigger payoff from it. Just like the barbell squat, in terms of, there's a weird analogy, but I'm going with it anyway. Let's see how I go with it. With a barbell squat, yes, you're going to get stronger doing it, but had you built up right to it by doing the goblet squats, by doing maybe the 2 kettlebell rack squats, feeling a lot more in your core, and then progressing onto barbell, you're at a stronger base, a stronger foundation. You're going to get more bang for your buck when you get to that barbell, instead of going through a learning process to barbell, and it could be too challenging, and you're increasing that risk of injury. So slowly building up to it is going to give you a much bigger payoff, in my opinion. So exercises I would do instead of barbell squats and deadlifts. I didn't really touch too much on deadlifts. I think a lot of it is just just making sure you got the right form down. Once again, some people might do trap bars instead of straight bars. Their mobility's not great. Great, fantastic, no issue with that. I just know personally that I prefer to do single leg stuff. And here's the whole thing with me doing single leg stuff instead of just the barbell deadlifts and squats. Yes, the goal is to get stronger, but at the same time, I feel there's going to be more transfer, not more transfer of strength, but it's more applicable to what I want to get out of it, which is I want to be a stronger runner, and I want to enjoy being in the gym. I don't enjoy barbell squats. I don't enjoy barbell deadlifts unless you are a power lifter and you really enjoy them. I would question why they're there, but if you enjoy them and they're safe, no issue. By all means, bang away, keep at them. I'm just not 100% confident when I do them. I know I've had issues flare up shortly after doing them. Like, was that the barbell squat? Was that deadlift? And I just I don't really want to do them. So I'd rather do a Bulgarian split squat where I know all the focus is on that quad and glute, and I can feel it work a lot more on the single leg. And as I'm lowering myself, push my foot to the floor, drive myself back up again, having two heavier weights by my side or up in a goblet position where I work a bit of core. I could feel that work more for me than I can doing a barbell squat where I'm worried about absolutely everything else, especially my lower back. So there's no reason for me to do them. Doesn't mean you can't build up and do them from you. But the main thing is with all these is find exercise that gets you off the couch and get you start moving again. A barbell squats and stuff are further down the road, but whatever gets you up moving, even if it's just 10 minutes every day, every second day, and then slowly build them up from there, because I honestly do feel the worst thing you can do is absolutely nothing. Now that wasn't a hard video to get through now, was it? I hope you guys got some value out of the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the Coach Sean channel, which is somewhere here. And hit that button, subscribe to the Coach Sean channel, leave a thumbs up. There should be a couple of other videos around here for you guys to check out. And that's all from me, Coach Sean. Take care.